Let's hit it. All right, man. Episode number five, man. We've it's crazy how fast this is going. Last visit was visit with some of the girls from the Yucaipa City.
Oh yeah, I watched that one. That was good.
Yeah, dude, intelligent ladies.
Absolutely.
You can definitely see why Yucaipa has some really good events.
They care about what they're doing over there.
Yeah.
So we've been involved with them as well, and they do a good job with what they're doing, especially
you felt that when they were in here.
Absolutely, yeah. The country music festival, all that.
Yeah, they're great. It's nice to get the community involved. The city portion kind of.
We actually attended that.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, we did. We attended that. It was the 5 Winds.
Yeah.
It was a good event.
Yeah, they were.
Well, let me introduce Julian really quick before we get all started, guys. Hey, definitely excited. Like I said, episode number 5. Today we got WingZone in here today, local business. This is something we definitely want to do more of as we move throughout, because this isn't just about Redlands and Henry Bush and what's inside the red truck. You know, it's really about Redlands, right? And about that local area. And so today, as a guest, we have the owner of WingZone here in Redlands.
Welcome in, man. Welcome in,
Julian.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. We really love doing stuff like this,
Great.
you know?
So yeah, we a couple of weeks ago, as we started this, for the guys who or people who might have watched multiple episodes of our podcast, Noah was our first guest. Noah is one of our technicians. He's our field service supervisor here at the company and my right-hand man. And one of the things that he said, he's like, hey, man, I got this really cool guy that owns a business here in Redlands. Yeah. You know, I was kind of telling him a little bit about our podcast. And, you know, he's got a great mind in the business, and he definitely loves Redlands and kind of stands for a lot of the things we stand for. Would you guys like to have him on the podcast? So here we are, a couple months later, and again, man, welcome, Julian. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about where you're located, all that kind of good stuff.
So we're located at 1755 East Ligonia Avenue. We're right next to Starbucks and Jersey Mike's on the Stater Brothers side of Ligonia.
Okay.
Almost to the border of Mentone, but we're still in Redlands.
Okay.
We know Noah. Noah's a great guy. You know, we've had we've had service done from you guys. You guys have really, as a business owner, especially a restaurant, it's very important that we have local businesses that can come and respond very fast.
Timely.
Yes, absolutely. Because with the restaurant, you're sitting duck if you don't have your plumbing or
not
drainage.
only can you not serve your clients, the health department could shut you down.
Absolutely.
So you're kind of at where our residential clients, you know, they're at timing. A little different situation. We'll wait till the next day. With you guys don't have that luxury.
So I'll get into our experience with you guys, which is very positive. Let me tell you where we're at and what we do.
Yeah,
we serve chicken, and we're the only place that we know of that has never frozen chicken.
Oh,
and so it logistically speaking, it keeps us in a very fragile state where everything has to work according to plan. Otherwise, things don't go. Right.
You know, is WingZone a franchise or is it?
So WingZone is a franchise. However, each one is individually owned.
Oh, okay.
So we're a family-owned business. There's 3 in California right now. There used to be only 2. It was us and Yuba City.
Okay.
And so Fontana opened recently in July.
Awesome.
And so we're a very, very small franchise, which allows us to do a lot more things. Basically serving never frozen chicken. And these are choices that we made to, serve our local community better quality food. So we're bringing good quality food back to the area. When I say back to the area, because there's a lot of, let's just say not great food. It's convenient, you know, but we're bringing quality back.
There you go.
And
that's great.
So, we have a motto over there. If I wouldn't feed it to my child, I wouldn't feed it to yours.
I love that.
I kid you not. This morning I woke up and my daughter comes out and she goes, Dad? And I go in her room. I go, so what's up? She goes, I want to do wings tonight. I was like, You got to be kidding me right now. I swear to you, my life, that's what she said. I don't know where that came from, but I thought, no, it must be something in the air today.
Well, so you got never frozen chicken. I like that. That's trying to be a little healthier. That sounds good. Yeah. It definitely does put you in a logistical little bit of a nightmare, and like you said, making sure that.
But that's why we depend on people like you guys that get our business, that keep it going. Because let's say our refrigeration goes out.
Right.
We're done. Right.
Sure.
Let's say our plumbing goes out. We're done. You know. So that's why we have to network here locally with our local businesses.
Right.
And I feel like it's local first, and that's what it should be in every sense of the way. And I consider Yucaipa local. I'm from Loma Linda, so I consider all these surrounding cities. They're very small, but they we have to rely on each other. And
it's all full circle. I mean, really,
it's full circle.
Between us eating lunch there, or us helping you guys out, or it all goes full circle. So it's about being involved and bringing up the community and the people around us.
Absolutely,
it's kind of the purpose of why we do this, because it helps not only us, but it helps reach out to find out what's going on in the community, and that's important.
Yeah. And by networking, we know who we can reach out to, who's going to come help us in a pinch, and it's just to share the story. We were in a pinch. We had a drainage issue, and we called you guys, and 30 minutes later, the problem was solved.
Awesome.
That's good. Yeah.
And you had Noah out for that one, or is that John?
No, John was out for that one.
Okay, John was out.
Yeah, John came out for that one, and he solved the issue. And I got to talk about honesty here. We had a previous plumber come out like a few months before. Basically did a whole bunch of stuff that was unnecessary and charged us a large amount of money. John came out, he actually diagnosed the issue, had it done within the hour. And
wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and we really appreciated that.
Yeah, just to kind of hit on that, and there's a why behind that. And I kind of like that. You guys have made a choice, to separate yourself and be the difference when it comes to, fast food.
Yes.
Right? And that's definitely, that's definitely in line with how we look at ourselves, right? It's one of those things where we talk about it consistently, about being the difference. That's not just a slogan that we want to slap up on a wall.
Well, you got to be the difference to make the difference.
Right. And so, what he was doing in that moment, which is the process that we have here at Redlands, which is evidence-based selling. Every single business we go to, every single home that we go to is going to tell us its own story.
Yes.
Our job is just to accurately read and interpret that story and then share with the customer our findings. So I'm glad you felt that. I'm glad you.
No, we felt that 100%. We talk about it all the time.
That's awesome.
And we're the type that we know a lot of the business owners here in Redlands, because we have multiple businesses here in Redlands, and people call us sometimes and ask us like, "Hey, I need a guy for this, for
plumbing
or this and that." And what we do is we share our experience that we had with that business with them, and they will trust us because we've had that experience with them, and we have a working relationship with them. So what I can say, and he did an evidence-based diagnosis. I'm a nurse, so I'm in the medical field.
Right.
You're not gonna prescribe somebody something for something that's not, needed.
Right.
And what he did is he did an evidence-based diagnosis.
I love it.
Yeah, and I really appreciated that. My wife and I, we really appreciated that.
I love to hear that as the trainer for the company, right?
Yeah, he pushes that in training meetings all the time. It's evidence. Follow the
shout out to John.
Yeah,
right?
Johnny Rockets. Our nickname for him is Johnny Rockets. So, John Garcia.
Yeah, John Garcia.
Oh, okay.
John Garcia.
Hey, John is gonna love that.
Yeah,
so John's a great guy. He's
definitely
really
shout out to John. It's kind of funny. Getting into different industries. I didn't come from the trades originally. I come from a sales background and management background, military prior to that. Mike's been in marketing for a long time, owned his own businesses, came into our company. He's been here a little over a year now. I've been here 7 years. The owner of the company's been here 27
or something,
anyway,
something like that.
Yeah. What got you into the food side of the business? What got you into the industry of serving the community by providing good food?
So I used to be a firefighter.
Okay.
Then I went to nursing school. After nursing school, we started a hot sauce brand, which I was making hot sauce at home for a long time. And my wife's like, why are you not selling this? You know? So we started a hot sauce brand. We took the title for first place for the West Coast.
Oh, awesome. Cool.
And the next step for us, we always wanted a restaurant. So we bought the restaurant May of 2024.
Okay.
So it's our first restaurant, but we're foodies.
Right.
So it's kind of like we're doing what we like.
What's the, since you brought it up now, what's the name of the hot sauce?
J and Big T sauces.
J and Big T. No.
My name is Julian.
Okay.
So you got the J.
Yep.
And my wife's name is Teresa.
Okay.
So that's the Big T. Everyone calls her Big T. She's about 5'2". She claims 5'2". She's probably about 5 foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like my wife.
Yeah.
Right?
And about 105 pounds.
A lot like my wife.
Yeah,
It's funny that those are the biggest personalities.
Yeah. She's.
That's where the Big T comes from.
Yeah.
Where can our listeners find that hot sauce? How do you guys get it out there?
jandbigtsauces.com. They can find it at WingZone at the physical location.
Very cool.
They can find it at Prep Table in Redlands. They can
Now, is
find
that
it.
only one type of sauce, or is there multiple inside that brand?
There's multiple sauces.
Okay.
We have mild all the way to super hot.
Yeah.
We make kimchi. We make fermented garlic.
Mike, have you ever had kimchi? Have you ever ate kimchi?
I never have.
Oh my god! I was in Korea.
Yeah.
And that's eating real
Love it?
kimchi. No.
So
That's an acquired taste, right? I mean,
I'll explain on the kimchi. I can't stand the smell of fish.
yeah.
So we make our kimchi without any fish products.
Okay.
Okay. So
Because
doesn't
it
have
smells
that
like a
smell you
dirty
gotta get over.
sock. I always say it smells like the hamper.
Oh,
Yeah.
kimchi.
Yeah, so we make ours with no fish products. Normally it has shrimp paste or
Right.
fish sauce. We just totally not.
Just a quick little side story because it's funny. I'll give it to Mike. So in Korea, you go over and Mama Sun is the person who runs the show out in Korea.
Yep.
And she, you're not buying or selling anything in a community without permission from
Yep.
Mama Sun. And that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And it's small little villages everywhere.
Yeah.
And she controls the kimchi as well. And it's funny because when they open that, they wrap it. It's like a lettuce wrapped, I think it is, or cabbage.
It's cabbage. It's a Napa cabbage.
Yeah. So when they and it's been fermenting under the ground, and I don't.
So we can't do that here in the States.
Right. I don't know how long.
We can't do. Hey, what flies over there, we can't do
Health
it here.
department probably won't
So
allow
ours
that,
is
right?
made. Ours is made very, very differently.
Oh, I'm sure. But I'm just telling you, we'd be out in the field, and she would bring, and they would unwrap some of those.
Ooh.
Oh,
The smell, how far that smell would permeate through that base.
Yeah.
I mean, you knew somebody.
I've heard that's the hardest part to get over is if you're going that way, it's the smell that you got to get.
There's no way I could ever put that in my mouth. I
So
can just tell you that.
I'm like you. Like I can't smell anything unless it's bad.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
funny. Like someone will have perfume on. I can't smell it. Right. But if there's something bad, like, oh my God, I'm dying.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's food for me is that way. Like I love walking. I'm an Italian fan.
Yeah.
I love walking in and smelling some good garlic and oregano and those.
So we make a
smells.
fermented garlic as well, and I would urge you to come by the store and try some.
Yeah,
we do a fermented garlic, and it's also Korean style, but it's also minus the fish sauce and stuff like that. We sell. We're an award-winning hot sauce brand, but we sell 10 times more fermented garlic than anything else.
And that makes sense. It's funny. My son would love the hot sauce. My son, it's kids right now. I don't know what it is with kids, but kids are into everything hot right now.
Mine too. Yeah, that's the thing. It's
We try to get on Hot Ones.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever watched Hot Ones on YouTube.
I haven't.
It's a very famous show.
Okay.
And we try to get on there, and they pick from their own group. So
Yeah.
we decided to just enter our own competitions. And,
Right on.
That's cool. Hey, do me a favor. Swing that. Just give it a little nudge
Which way?
towards him.
Towards him?
There you go. Right there. There
Right
it is.
there?
Yep.
All right.
Now we got all angles covered. Cool.
Yeah, it's funny. I've noticed a shift with that. Like even when you go and you look at like the snack section, right now everything
It's spicy.
Yeah, it's all spicy. Yeah.
Everything spicy queso,
Hot Cheetos,
hot
yeah.
Cheetos, spicy
Takis are the huge thing for my kids.
Oh
They
my
just
goodness. That stuff eats me alive.
Oh, yeah.
It's and I tell my kids because I was watching some TV the other day, and they were talking about all the bad dyes that
Yeah.
are in those
The Takis, they have like that blue, like, and all that
The
stuff.
red
You guys are
Yeah.
probably all natural ingredients, right? And what you-
So what we do is we have zero artificial thickeners. We don't use powdered spices. We also do not use any dyes
Ooh, I like
and no extracts. So basically, it's as hot as nature made the peppers. We only use whole fruits and vegetables.
Ooh, I like
Cool.
Yeah, only whole fruits and vegetables. That's it.
So how is everything going over there, and how is it being in Redlands? Are you guys seeing? I know food costs are probably crazy right now. It's got to be
Food
affecting
costs
you, right?
are crazy. We pay about 4 times more than these bigger chains that use freezer to the fryer
Oh, wow.
chicken, because we're not freezer to the fryer.
Sure.
Yeah. So what we do is we actually cut our chicken in house.
Okay.
People think they're nuggets, but
Mm-hmm.
we call them boneless because they're not nuggets. Nuggets are ground meat formed into a
Sure.
into a shape,
Shaped into it.
breaded, then frozen, and then
with all kinds of preservatives,
so
all
much,
kinds of
so much
nastiness.
stuff.
Yeah.
We cut our chicken in house. We cut our boneless. We only bread it at the time of frying, and we brine them for a minimum of 12 hours.
Oh,
our
that's great.
chicken breasts each are individually hand pounded to even them out so that
Do you guys do bone in also, or is it just?
yeah, we do bone
you?
in.
Oh,
Yes,
cool.
absolutely.
It's
And-
kind of funny about how you're talking about being natural. My wife has got on a bread kick lately, making her own bread
yes. Oh,
instead
so
of buying bread.
absolutely. It's
And
a good
it's
thing.
amazing how I think there's only 4 ingredients in bread.
Yes.
Yeah.
But when we looked it up online, and we had some at the house. Here's like 25
Yep.
things in
Yeah.
your bread, and here's the 4 real ingredients.
That's all the
that you need.
preservatives, all the things
Yeah.
they're putting into these
And
foods
so
now. It's wild.
What's
Yeah.
crazy is this is the true test of good bread. It should go bad in 3 days.
Exactly.
Yep.
If it doesn't go bad in 3 days,
Yep.
and like 3 days is pushing it. If it doesn't go bad in 3 days,
Yeah.
Something's wrong.
something's wrong.
Yep.
And all these gluten allergies that people are getting, like there
One
have
of them.
there have been
Yeah.
empires that have grown on grains and breads.
Right.
Yep.
Why didn't they have that?
Right.
You know?
Right. It's all the preservatives. It's all the
Yeah.
additives. It's it's just been amazing. She's the one we haven't tried yet. The one we're working on, but it's a lot more into it. Is our own sourdough.
Yeah.
That that one is a little bit different. That one it takes way more time.
So I got to tell you something. We went to a sourdough class, and it was taught by one of our close friends, and she had 100-year-old sourdough starter.
Oh wow.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and it's called Our Grateful Dough, and they teach the class in their house, and they have the sourdough starter, and making it was such a good experience for us. My wife and I, we went and
Right.
did the whole thing, and they gave us sourdough starter to take with us that you can keep alive and
Right,
everything
right.
like that. But we're big fans of sourdough.
Yeah, we are too.
Sourdough's great.
Yeah.
I love going to
It-
farmers
I-
market and picking up
Yeah,
fresh stuff.
some good balsamic vinegar,
Oh,
some
yeah.
good olive oil, and some good sourdough.
And some
You know?
good cracked pepper on top.
Yes.
Of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Done.
Freshly cracked.
Yeah, and no, exactly. Tyler, our owner, he's got me into that. I'd never really ever even thought about sea salt and cracked pepper and how much different that can make a food taste. And we were cooking breakfast here one day, and he brings down his fresh cracked pepper. Ever since then, I don't like regular pepper anymore. I don't want regular pepper.
Right.
I want cracked pepper.
And
Yeah.
she's actually a local business owner as well. They make sourdough. They sell out all the time. They're in Gerard's.
Okay.
No kidding.
Yeah, they're in Gerard's.
What's the name of her business?
It used to be Kim's Grateful Dough, and now it's called Our Grateful Dough.
Our Grateful Dough. Yeah. Well, shout out to Kim.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kim, right?
she's so cool. I have pictures of making the bread. Took us through the process from start to finish, and it was seriously like there are so few ingredients necessary. I always say less is more.
Right.
When people come into the shop, like our fries, there's not 17 ingredients in it. It's potatoes,
Potato and salt.
salt and pepper.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the way it
That's
should
all
be.
you need.
Yeah, that's the way it should be.
Yeah, you guys definitely come by and try some food.
Mike,
I'll be going tonight on the way. That's exactly where we're
Mike
going
will
tonight.
be there tonight.
Yeah. So take us back to day one, opening up. What would you? Is there anything you would have done different, or how was the experience doing that?
So day one, this was our first restaurant. And I don't know if you know this, but a restaurant is highly labor intensive. People don't realize what goes on behind the scenes. And what goes on behind the scenes is completely not what you think. involves so many aspects. And like, let's say you have a staff member that calls in sick. Guess who's coming?
Yep.
You.
This guy.
Yeah.
You are now the cook.
Yeah.
That's it.
But we went a step further and made everything to be made in-house. So other places will get it shipped to them frozen, like anybody can make it.
Right.
But there's certain things that we have a standard for. We actually, each piece of chicken is inspected, and everything is done in-house. We make our dry rubs, like our Nashville hots, our lemon pepper tahini. We make everything in-house. So we got to make sure.
Mike's getting hungry over there. I can
Yeah,
see
you
it.
ready?
Yeah, we make sure that everything is done per our standards. And then we do a lot of like secret stuff. Like when I say secret, we have a secret menu where we'll test certain items. Right now we're doing beta testing on chicken and waffles. So
Oh, wow.
we make
Very cool.
we make a Belgian waffle from scratch.
There you go.
And we have our own recipe, and we do our Belgian waffle at the time of ordering. Our chicken is fresh. Everything is done fresh.
Wow.
It's great.
Yeah, so that's one item.
Chicken, that's a staple here in Southern California.
Yeah.
Chicken and waffle.
Yeah, there's just nothing really around here that's
Right.
good, know?
Yeah. Let's just go from a business perspective. I mean, opening a business here in Southern California is just out of control. It's
Very hard.
ridiculous what you got to do to get there. What's been your favorite part of having your business with your wife? What's been that favorite part that you guys can say?
Working with her, we're a good team. When there's a rush, we hate each other. As soon as the rush is over, we love each other again.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because we laugh about it later.
Yeah.
But in any situation that's like,
Tense.
like, yeah, we'll be shouting at each other. But once it's over, we're like, we got it. We did it,
Me and my wife talk about that all the time. I don't know if we could work together. It would definitely test our marriage.
I think everybody has that conversation. We've had the same one. It's two things. Either working together is going to, get you divorced, or docking your boat together is the other one. It's just there's a couple things you just don't do, or
we have a
sometimes it
unique
works, but
relationship where
it's
yeah,
good.
we'll shout at each other, we'll cuss at each other, we'll but after it's done, it's like, oh yeah, we did it. So it's good.
Well, it's cool. I mean, you can tell. I mean, just the look in your eye when you talk about your wife, man. That's a testament to your marriage. I mean, me and my wife, we're lucky. My wife, she puts up with me. She's my yin to my yang, man. We're definitely different, but we are what complements each other. She's my best friend, so sounds a lot like what you and your
Absolutely.
wife. And it's amazing. Mike and his wife, they're fun people to be around, and you can tell. That's what to me makes that marriage work, right?
Yeah.
And being a business partner, you
Sure.
gotta enjoy the people you're with. One of the biggest things that we like at this company, we talk about it a lot, is that company culture. And I'm bringing that up to talk about the culture of your business. But here, our culture, we strive to be the difference. But inside here, we really try to make it to where it's one person holding the other person accountable, that person holding that person accountable.
Yeah.
And we really stay to this really strong level of excellence by Mike holding me accountable, and Mike knows back at the
Everybody
same
has
time
to do
I'm going to
that,
hold him accountable. And we love that. And I could, thinking about a restaurant where, man, if things, you can't have variations from day to day. It's got to be consistency. Your food's got to be consistent. Your service has got to be
Absolutely.
consistent.
Yeah. And on that note, like, we have people that have been in the restaurant industry longer than we have, and they're our employees, but we consider them team members, and they'll give us good insight into like, hey, this probably should be done this way, and this, that.
You're
And we
open to
take
listening to things like that,
You
sure.
have to be. You have to be.
they don't-
Everyone has something positive or useful to offer.
Yeah,
you
well,
know?
that's the things that make businesses either stay around for a long time or not. It's the ability to be able to listen to someone else and constructively listen to that and apply that to your business. It's like what you guys do with the chicken, how you individually inspect everything and make sure that quality is number one and important. The way you talk about Noah and our guys is because of the things that maybe he's doing or somebody here is doing that is the parts that people don't see. Like you said, there's a lot of things that go into a restaurant business that people don't realize.
Yeah.
You walk in and you're doing a good job, but they walk in and it feels like things just happen like that, right? Well, that's the kind of the way that our culture is here too. We kind of go with this lead with evidence to, really do a good job, really inspect things, make sure that all of your homework's done to give that customer a great experience. So it feels like you just walked in and we didn't have to sit there and lead anybody, or, it just happens seamlessly. I think that's what is so important, and that's what makes businesses last out here.
It's funny because my wife and I, sad to admit, but one of our biggest things that you would see on my bank account month over month is way too much eating out. And I can't tell you how many times I can't tell you.
I have a similar issue.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times my wife and I said, man, we need to curb.
Right.
We're looking at our statement, and I'm looking at my gut, and I'm looking at our statement, I'm looking at my gut. I'm like, man, there's a correlation between how many times we're eating out and the pant size that I'm wearing and the less in our bank account. But I say that to say this. When it's funny about restaurants because it's not about, I mean, yes, the food quality has to be good. You want to feel good about that. But you also want to feel good about the people that are serving you. You want to feel good about the people that are taking care of you. I mean, for me, one of the biggest things when I go to a restaurant is how do people make me feel when I walk in? Do you feel, I always use the story about, some of our fast food chains, and I won't say any names to get us in trouble, but you walk in there sometimes and it looks like that poor person taking your order. Mm-hmm. If they have to take one more order, they might just end it.
Yeah. Well, I won't say any names, but there are certain places that they don't accept cash anymore. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to name names, but it takes away from the workers there that they don't get their cash tips because there's no cash at all.
Yeah, right.
This is the United States of America.
Right.
We accept U.S. currency, and we will not stop. Okay, that's what's going to happen. And our workers, we don't take tips as owners.
Yeah.
It's going to go to our workers, and we're going to make sure that they get, the tips that they were given. And that's just one aspect of it. We've had people jumping ship from unnamed other, similar chicken places that now work for us, and they love working because we treat them like family.
Right.
There are some now. There's one, without naming names again, since COVID happened, you've gotten some of these chains that have now digital kiosks. And you walk into, there's one in particular, you walk in and it feels like they just figure we're not even coming to the counter anymore. And that's
I got served by a robot the other day. We went to a restaurant and literally we put in our order and we're sitting at the table and a robot rolled out. I'm dead serious. Wow. Like a robot rolled out with trays on it, and you got to take your food off, and then once you take your food off, it rolls away, and then
I mean, for one time that would be kind of neat, just to
I thought it was going to be neat.
Yeah,
I wasn't impressed.
No. Well, you take that personal service out of it, and what are you left with? I mean, anybody can do the robotic end of it.
Yeah,
you got to have that smiling face and that,
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a little restaurant up in Yucaipa, and we go there. Mm-hmm. Half the time because my kids say, hey, let's go see Miguel. Now Miguel's the waiter that we always sit in his area, and he makes my wife feel so comfortable. My wife loves that he calls her mija, and it makes her feel like her childhood again. He's always talking to my girls about, because usually we're going in there after basketball practice or after one of the games. So he's always, oh, how was your game today? And it's funny. We that's the great thing about living in a smaller community like, Calamasa, Yucaipa, Redlands, Loma Linda. It's a smaller, tighter knit place, and people want that feeling of connectivity.
I want that feeling.
Right.
So if I want that feeling, I'm going to give that feeling.
Right.
And we're actually rated number 1 in the U.S. There's 25 in the U.S.
Wow.
And we're rated number
great.
1.
The wing zones.
For the wing zone. Number 1 for all the wing zones for customer service.
Awesome.
Because as owners, when do you ever meet an owner at a restaurant?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right. And we could just be like, here, you guys just do this and we'll be at home, this and that. We're there 7 days a week. We took 1 day off in 8 months. That was Christmas Day,
People don't realize that, what owners have to do.
But we do that for a purpose. There has to be quality service and quality food. And right now we're setting the example.
Good.
And so we actually committed to 1 year, at least 1 year, that to be there 7 days a week. And the only reason we weren't there on Christmas Day is because we decided to close for that day.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think, it's just like anything else, man. The testimony of a lot of owners out there is what you get out of the business is what you put in.
It is. You set the standard for what you're expecting.
If your employees see you setting and holding yourself to a high standard, as the leader of the service team here at the company, if I didn't hold myself to a certain standard when I was on a call or when I was dealing with a customer, or, sometimes, problems happen, right? Yeah. Things break, right? How we deal with a customer when something didn't go right. I think that's even more important than when it did go right, because, right? I mean, look, orders are going to get messed up from time to time.
It happens.
Toilets are going to break sometimes when there's things that are going to happen. And I think that's where our customers really come to appreciate you, is in that moment of failure. How did you behave in that moment? I think that's the moment that sets you apart. Sure. It's easy to be good when everything's good.
Yes. Yep. But there's also another aspect of it. I want my team members to know that if I'll do it, I expect them to do it too.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I own the place.
Right.
And if I'm willing to do it, then I certainly expect you to do it.
Well, and that's a really cool thing here. Tyler, he asked us to be a team that's willing to give back, and to be a team that's willing to give to our customers as much as we receive. We do that by doing customer events out in the field where we're giving back to the city. Whether it's Ukaipa, Redlands, Loma Linda. Even the way that he does 401k and stuff here at the company, just really giving back. We one of the things that we do here at this company that's just absolutely crazy, because you don't find it very often, is we actually pay for our guys to go to school, right? And that is a huge benefit.
This is a small business.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, and that's very rare in the small business community. Yeah. Like you find, I used to work for Bank of America. That's a large corporation. Yeah, they pay for your school, but they can do so.
Right.
But with small businesses, we're like on the razor's edge sometimes, and for them to do that here is very, very exemplary.
Those large expenses are big deals when you're a small company.
Yeah, but
it's exemplary.
Tyler's he's a smart businessman. He knows that what he puts into his employees, then he, like you said a little bit earlier, he has the right to ask for excellent.
Yes. But I think people want to give back at that point, right?
Yeah, when you take care of your people, they want to take care of you back. Absolutely. And you can count on them, and you can take care of them.
It translates into your customers too. And when your customers are happy, it's that full circle. Then they're coming back, and then it's just starting over again,
And I'll tell you, with my experience with you guys, like your guys, I feel like on a whole have been like they're just nice people,
right?
Yeah,
it's funny. We have an acronym that we have around the building. It's great, and it sounds like a nice little acronym. The G stands for growth, the R stands for respect, the E stands for excellence, the A stands for accountability, and the T stands for thankfulness. And we use that when we're looking, who are we gonna reward as the employee of the month? It's a great thing. It's not just a financial thing. It's great's a part of that. When we're sitting down interviewing and hiring a person, we want to see that person demonstrate some of those attributes of great already. Like this person, you can see from his resume, man, he's trying to grow himself. He's trying to be a stronger person. You look at him, he's still going to school or whatever the case might be. And
you gotta have aspirations.
Yeah, when you look for those things,
you don't want to stay where you're at.
No, it's hard in our industry, because a lot of times you're training this person, and you know in the back of your mind, there's a chance that we're going to put all this time, effort, and money into this person, and they're going to end up going out and starting their own company. And you know what? You have to go into it with a heart that, hey, it's still the right thing to do to give back.
We have one employee on that note, and I'm not going to name a name, but he just passed his CHP exam, and we know he's going to leave us, but we know that he's given us his all.
Right.
He is seriously he's our lead for everything.
That's cool.
And never shirks anything. He does his thing. And we're so happy for him. You got to be happy for progress.
He'll probably make a great officer.
Absolutely. That's 100%. Yeah.
It's funny when you're looking at the coming up year. We just started February, and so you guys have been in there how long now?
Since May of 2024.
May of 2024. What do you see in the future for you guys? What is the big goals in the future for you and we'll call it Big T?
Big T. So our first goal is to get it on autopilot.
Okay.
And when we get it on autopilot, then we can maybe think about another one, because people keep asking us, when are you going to open up one in this city? When are you going to open up one in that city? You know?
Sure.
Like, we get people that drive down from Palm Springs, from Big Bear. We get a lot of the traffic from up the mountain.
Because, they're on their way home and stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. So we get a lot of people coming down, going up, and a lot of like schools and stuff like that. They have like retreats.
Right.
And then it's a burgeoning town right there. They're slated to build a lot of houses and stuff like that. So part of the reason we bought the place was because it's a developing area like that.
Right.
You know?
Sure.
And I don't know how old you guys are, but when I grew up, there was nothing there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was nothing there. And we're on the newer side. So everything there is
A lot of room to grow and more people to come in. Yeah.
It's fun.
Sure.
Same way with Yucaipa, right? When I used to go through Yucaipa when I was in high school, what now is Chapman Heights, which
there was nothing.
thousands of homes, right? That was literally orange groves.
Felt like a desolate road. You just
it was a scary road to drive up at night. It was so dark.
Yeah, look at how developed Crafton Hills College is now.
Yeah.
When I went there, when I was taking some classes like in the 90s.
Me too.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible. Now and then I went there before when I was going to nursing school to do my prereqs.
Right.
And all their labs are new. Everything, all their facilities are nice. There's a gym.
They've invested a lot into that.
Yeah, we actually talked about it last time on the podcast. I did like the little 6-hole golf course they used to have.
That's right.
Back in the 90s, that was like my favorite course to play out here. So possibly expansion in the future. That's
Possibly
cool.
expansion, maybe diversification.
Yeah.
We have a hot sauce brand. We have a restaurant. We have a medical coding and billing company for anesthesia.
Oh, wow.
I don't feel like working as a nurse, so I don't know if I will. But
Are you currently doing that too, or no?
you know what's funny is I went to school and graduated 6-7 years ago.
Okay.
And then I took the NCLEX last December and passed, and so I'm like, you know what? I don't.
Trying to figure. You're a busy man.
Yeah, I didn't really feel like doing it, but because we had so many things on our plate.
Yeah.
And so, especially we had, I passed the NCLEX, we went on vacation, and then we bought the restaurant.
Okay.
And so it's just like, I want to get my businesses in order first.
Sure.
Well, let's peel the onion all the way back. So, a hot sauce company. You said you were making it for a long time, and
We're a manufacturer.
And then, Big T said, "Well, hey, why aren't we selling this?" So what got you started making hot sauce in the foot? Just your desire to try to make your own sauce, or what was it?
I like to cook stuff.
Yeah.
I like to make stuff. I like to grow stuff. I'm a foodie.
Okay.
Yeah. So at home, I cook. Like, I'm the cook.
Okay.
You know, and I'm always experimenting, and I'm always doing. I cook like Indian food. I cook like all sorts of different foods up from scratch.
Okay.
And so, being a foodie, like, I've always fermented stuff. Like, at the beginning, I used to make beer, wine. I used to ferment all sorts of spirits. I've even tried my hand at distillation, so I've distilled spirits as well. And so, I turned my hand to vegetables when I started growing them. I was like, I got really into fermentation. So traditional fermentation, before refrigeration, humankind used fermentation to preserve their vegetables.
Right.
And I like spicy food, so it just kind of came together, and that's what happened. It kind of was.
Awesome.
It was kind of an organic journey, And then I had a real thing for I like organic vegetables. I like everything from farm to table.
Yep.
So I would be growing my own onions, garlic, peppers, everything that went into the sauces.
Growing up in the South, I ate a ton of my grandparents, especially my grandmother on the Kentucky side. She was, she called it a garden. It was like 5 acres. That's a farm here in California. But
absolutely.
That's
my dream.
Yeah, they had 360 something acres of where they grew, crop barley and soy and stuff like that. But she had a 5 acre. That was her little personal garden. She had strawberries and tomatoes and all that stuff. But everything we ate was canned. So during the wintertime, you never went to the store.
Yeah,
she
was all there.
Well, and in most houses were like that back there. The people that were from the 20s, 30s, 40s, they had the whole first room they called a mud room. But then part of that mud room was also like a stock room that was just.
Some places they call it a root cellar.
Yeah, root cellar.
Yeah. Some places they call it a root cellar. But I do that stuff. Like I ferment stuff and I'll keep it in the jars, And yeah, I do the
Something
same
you love
thing.
doing. Huh? It's
I'm like, I feel like I'm like a homesteader. Like I would be a homesteader. Like I want to buy some acres in Tennessee and just
that's what that's our goal.
Grid.
Like Montana, Tennessee.
Yeah,
like that.
I want to go off grid.
Yeah, I tell you,
absolutely.
Shout out to my sister-in-law, Crystal's last year or 2 years ago now. She got into making pickles, her own homemade. Spicy pickles.
I do that too.
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah.
That is an amazing little acquired taste.
So fermentation is another word for pickling.
Right.
So basically, it's instead of adding vinegar to it, you promote lactobacillic fermentation. Yeah. So you're promoting lactobacillus, and so they call it lactofermentation. And the reason it gets sour is because that lactic acid is sour. So instead of adding vinegar, it's a different process, but to the same goal.
Right.
And I do pickles of all sorts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys have to work with owning a business. You have to work with a lot of outside vendors, right?
Yeah.
How do you prioritize like who you choose to make sure you're making the right selections?
Local first, always and always.
That's great.
That's it.
Yeah.
Local
That's
first. When we need something done at the shop, local first. What's the first name in or the first word in your business?
Redlands.
Okay. Yeah. Local first.
Yeah.
When we need honey, we're going with local first.
That's
when we
great.
need vegetables, we're going with local first.
There's so many local resources out here. That's what I love about this
There's so
area.
many small farms,
there's
there's
a
so many-
lot. You can get whatever you need out here.
I've been getting local honey lately, and
That's the best, isn't it?
Where the Soffles?
Yeah, no, that is
Soffles is good. That's
tried
what we
that
get
one.
ours.
I forget the name of one is punk rock.
Punk rock, yeah, punk rock,
yeah.
yeah. They're
Punk Rock,
friends of ours.
I like theirs.
Punk
And then-
Rock Ranch, don't
Yeah,
they have that?
Punk-
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
right.
they're friends of ours actually, and I got
Great
some.
honey.
I got some mead from them one time. I had never had mead, and I got some mead from them, and it was really, really good. They used to actually set up right next to us when we first started selling our hot sauce.
Yeah, their son.
Yeah.
He sells right over here sometimes on my way home from the back of the truck.
There's also Green Spot. Green Spot, they're
that
good
one I've
too.
done. You know the other one I like? I think it's Boyle, Bouys or something like that.
Buey.
Buey.
My sister was married to Mark, to one of the guys.
Yeah, theirs is good
Yeah,
too. I
for
tried
sure.
theirs is good. You know, it's funny. It's a richer taste. You can taste that.
Yeah, you can tell it's fresh and it's local. Yeah, it's a difference.
There's the thing with local honey. It actually gives you a little benefit for like allergies and stuff
Right.
like that
Yep.
because the pollens and everything like that.
Yep.
It gives you a little resistance to that.
Yep.
Another reason why I feel like local is better, especially with produce, is it's not going to be refrigerated for like a month or
Right.
whatever. You don't know how
Yeah.
long this stuff's been
Right.
sitting. You know
Right.
what I mean?
People don't realize the difference until you try that actually, and you go, "Wow, it's a huge."
Yeah, we're trying our hand this spring. I have 2 acres up in Ukaipa.
Oh, nice.
And I have chickens, so we get our own eggs, and we have our own little eggs.
Yeah.
I had some goats for a while. We got rid of the goats. We didn't.
Did you eat 'em?
I didn't know. I gave them away to a petting zoo, but we want to do that again. I didn't have the right setup, and I didn't know how intrusive goats could be.
Oh, for sure.
It's kind of good to keep one around because they'll take down like weeds and stuff that you need.
They would have, but they kept jumping into my chicken coop that I had at the time.
nice.
And I tell you what, they were eating that chicken food, and it was making their guts swollen because they're not supposed to eat that stuff.
Yeah.
And so it was just a train wreck. But this year,
I would love to see your place because I love growing things.
Yeah, I've
man.
been wanting to. One of the big things I've been wanting to do is, I'm a big church guy. We have a couple of people I have a big church group on Monday night that comes for a Bible study, and we've been wanting to start like our own little community farm back there.
Man, call me.
And how cool would that be?
That would
right?
be-
Call me. There's a lot of communities that have done that. They used to have one in Loma Linda, but after COVID, when COVID hit, they shut it down.
Yeah, they still have a really big one over in Calamasa on, I think it's Avenue L. And it is, man, it's cool to I'll drive by it because when I'm going to Tractor Supply, I drive right by it.
Is that the one with the horse on top? That Tractor Supply?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's got that little the fake horse on top.
Yeah.
I love my favorite nursery that I go to because I can find like exotic peppers there. Is the Cherry Valley Nursery.
Yeah, they do have good stuff.
Yeah, I used to go to the one in Ukaipa that's on the boulevard.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it, but they have good stuff. But the Cherry Valley one, and they're super nice over there.
Well, the really cool thing is like I was saying, going by that on a couple of times throughout the day on the weekend, there's 20 to 30 different families out there working their little plot that they have.
Really, that's cool.
Man, if you do you do that, please give me a call because I'm all in.
Yeah, I got to get water ran. I have a whole acre that's literally just sitting there.
Really?
And I told my wife, I said,
have you ever? Do you know what liquats are?
Oh yeah. The little orange, like, you just eat them with the skin and everything.
Like a kumquat.
No, liquats are different. They're like, it's like a really soft skin, peels off.
Like an orange, but they're really little, right?
Yeah. I have some trees if you'd like some.
Those things are, you should try them.
I don't have a place to plant them. I've been kind of just like holding them for someone that wants them.
Yeah.
But
those are good.
It's funny, man. The eggs. Me and my wife take, right now, it's kind of off season for us, but we're getting about 6 to 8 eggs a day.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
I told my wife I want to.
Now I know where I'm coming to.
How many chickens do you have?
We have 11 hens and 2 roosters.
Okay.
So
do the roosters ever fight?
They do.
Do you keep them separate?
No, they're fine. It's not that bad. Because these were all grown up together. So we bought from Tractor Supply supposedly no roosters. It was supposed to be, they're called pullets, and it's supposed to be all hens. So I could have taken them back once we figured out they were roosters, but by that time they were too old, and I was like,
part of the family already.
They are what they are, right? And neither one of them has attacked me yet. So
that's good.
The day they attack me, we might have some chickens.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm telling you, chickens and geese, they scare the hell out of me.
Oh man, chicken! Hey,
you ever been to Ford Park?
Geese. Oh yeah, I agree with you.
They are aggressive over there.
Over at the VA, they were.
Yes.
The ones at the VA.
So I grew up really close to the VA, and they're pretty aggressive.
Yeah, those were bad over there. I'd go over to the VA.
Yeah.
One of my buddies was
like, I'm like, I don't want to kick this thing, but so I gotta kind of run. Like, what do you do?
It's about to happen.
Yeah.
It's funny. We just trying to be a little bit more natural, man. Trying to, that's one of the reasons we wanted that piece of proproperty.
Yeah. That's what I want to do. Is I kind of want to get into like.
We're gonna do our
farming. So
we're gonna. I did my. There's a really funny story about that, really quick. So even in Beaumont, because a lot of people don't even realize, even when you don't have much property, there's so much you can grow, right? Like we were doing, we had these big pots, and I was doing some mixed greens. Like I just bought mixed greens, and I was growing mixed greens in that pot. It is funny how much different mixed greens from nature taste than what you buy.
Absolutely.
It's stronger tasting. It is more, I don't know what the word, earthy, I guess is the word I would use for it.
So we moved to Beaumont recently, and I grow stuff over there. And it's a little colder and a little higher altitude.
Right.
But I've had some peppers that are still producing. And it's weird. In Loma Linda, they produce year round.
Right.
But over there, since it's a little colder and higher altitude, but I have some peppers that continue to grow.
Yeah.
And either that or they went dormant, but they'll come back.
Yeah.
I've grown radishes. I've grown.
I like this year we're going to do cucumbers. I want to do some corn. I like sweet corn, so I want to do some sweet corn. So we'll see. We'll see. I've done it before. I've done it before, and the thing I wasn't attentive like I needed to be. So this year when I'm doing it, I'm setting it up where it's going to automatically water.
Yeah.
All this. Yeah. I got to do it differently because if it's on to me, it's already 8:00 at night.
Your ADD is going to be kicking in on to the next thing.
Anybody that knows me knows the ADD's bad.
Yeah. How do you guys find it the best way that you've connected with your community? Like, which outlets do you guys go for?
We talk to them. This is the problem. A lot of people don't know we're there. So I've tried different outlets like, let's say, Instagram and stuff like that. I'm a little older, so I'm not really super adept at it, but Instagram, we've tried that. We've done direct mailers. Most of our business comes from word of mouth, and I think that's still important, but reaching a wider audience, like you have other wing places that they have like national advertising and stuff like that. They're just better known, like more like, recognizable. So what I would like to do is just become more recognized, but I don't want to be recognized just for like commercially made chicken.
Yeah, right.
I want to be we're a mom and pops. Like, at the end of the day, it's a franchise, but we are WingZone Redlands,
Right. Yeah.
We're not.
You want people to think of you as that local person, like the honey or like things we talked about.
Yeah.
Just because it's a chain doesn't mean that it can't be local and really great.
We're family owned, and we have leeway since we're a small franchise. We have leeway to do a bunch of stuff that So
that's great. It's funny. People don't realize that. I don't think a lot of people realize the value in word of mouth. It's you can do all the advertising you want, but bad word of mouth spreads a lot quicker than positive ones, right?
Absolutely.
I definitely tell you, I think that, you know, the service is going to get you there, right?
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
That to me is I can tell you what, you know, it's when you finally find that place where people are actually treating you good, the food's good, you hit that kind of that magic sweet spot, right? It's good food, it's good service, the cost is fair. The rest is history, right? It does take time. I'm glad you're here today. I'm glad you're getting your name out there a little bit more. What if you had to say that other than marketing, what's been the biggest challenge inside the industry? What has that been?
I would say staffing, okay, because there's a lot of people that, you know, they want a job but they don't really want to work.
Right.
They like the idea
The
of the
staff
job.
that we have right now are excellent,
Right.
but when we
Took a while to get
when we get new staff, it's like we end up going through like 5 or more people before we find someone that, you know, actually wants to work.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Well, that holds your values too. I mean, you have to find.
Yeah,
people
and they have to
right?
they have to do it the way that we want to.
Yeah.
They have to show up, at least show up. You know.
These days, that's like asking for the world, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's just how it is.
Yeah, so I would say
hard.
that's an issue. I'm sure you guys have dealt with
Yeah,
it too.
yeah.
Because you get people that can do the job, but do they want to?
Yeah.
And so
You know, that's been the hard. I mean, I think for any company, that's the hardest thing. I think it's gotten harder. I think there's a different value system out there nowadays versus what there was. I mean, that's why we use great when we're interviewing, right? We're looking for some of those key characteristic traits. This is kind of to our own detriment sometimes. We probably only hire 1 out of every 20 to 25 people that walks through our door and puts in an application.
we're now there. We're
Yeah.
now doing that because at first we'd be like, give
have
everyone
to.
a chance.
Yeah.
Right.
You gotta be selective.
And we'd be like, oh, let's check them out. Let's give them a chance. And then we end up paying them for a month
Yeah.
to do absolutely nothing.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it ends up being expensive.
Yeah.
You know.
It does, yeah.
So now we're on that page now where it's like, okay.
Kind of got it all in place. Everything feels like it's rolling smooth now.
Yeah.
Well, and I'll tell you, it's important, right? I mean, in your industry and our industry, unfortunately, that one bad person can lose you a customer forever.
Yeah.
And you know, we never want that. We don't, kind of like you said earlier, if it's not good enough for my kids, I wouldn't feed it to
Yeah,
your kids.
no, not at
You
all.
know, the way we kind of talk about that is, look, what kind of service would you want your grandmother or mother to have?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had my family come in yesterday, just out of the blue. My aunt and my cousin and her husband and her child. They didn't tell us they were coming or whatever. And I just thought to myself, like, how would I want them to be treated?
Right.
You know,
Sure.
so I actually went and we served them ourselves because that's what
Right.
we would expect. You know.
Sure. Attitude of servitude. That's the attitude. You know, I wrote a book that's called The Attitude of Gratitude and Attitude of Servitude, and we try to train to that. And it's funny that that's a lost art anymore.
It is.
Everybody's a what about me? It's a what about me culture out there, you know. Well, what about, you know, and it's hard sometimes. I'll be the first to admit that, you know, how that saying that the customer's always right. That's a hard one to swallow, right? Because
It's a balancing act.
Sometimes you have some customers that are being very difficult to deal with, but I tell you, serving people and that smile you can put on somebody's face, whether you're talking about plumbing or talking about food,
Yeah.
it's still the same thing.
So, as a business owner, I'm going to share a little story with you. Like, I went to one of our competitors' store, like right across the street, and I can't even say competitor because we're different. So
Right.
it's not. It's just another place that I went to order some food. I ordered a 6-piece, and yeah, granted, it's a small meal. But they literally were talking bad about me right in front of me. That why is this guy wasting my time? You know,
Good
with this
Lord.
small order. And I'm thinking to myself, you get paid the same whether you make me a 6-piece
Yeah, what does it matter?
or a 50-piece. You're getting paid the same. And I literally heard them say, this guy's wasting my time and this and that. Like, really? Like,
People don't get it.
Well, and it's funny.
you should be happy because you're only having to make a 6-piece but getting paid the same
Yeah.
rather than having to make a 50-piece
Yeah.
and getting paid the same. I would have
bizarre.
fired the person on the spot.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's the thing. Like, I always look at my employees and see how they're treating the customers
Yeah.
because it's all about the treatment.
Yeah, that's what keeps your business open.
Well, I told you an hour would go by fast. We're
Yeah,
already
it
at
does.
50 minutes.
We're
Oh,
out
really?
of time.
Yeah, it goes. It's crazy how fast it goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
First time we shot this, I was like, I thought, oh man,
It's going to be searching for.
we gotta fill an hour, and all of a sudden we're
I guess that's how Joe Rogan does the long form.
Yeah,
man. Like
he does the 3 hours.
before you know it, it's like over. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
So what's that message that, man, if WingZone could tell you one last statement to their customers out there? I mean,
I got it. I got the
Go
message.
ahead. What is it?
We are bringing good food back to the area.
I love it. Love it. Good food back to
We need more of that.
Mike, tomorrow you'll be able to tell me.
I will.
Mike's gonna go.
I'll be there about
tonight,
5:30 tonight to pick up. So yeah, it's gonna.
Yeah,
be
I'm excited. Well, Julian was awesome.
I was gonna bring some food, but I didn't know what you guys wanted or
it's
whatever.
all-
So I was like,
Man, no worries at all.
Don't worry about that. I can't wait. Next time we'll have to bring Big T in.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Get Big T on the mic. I love
Yeah.
that. Big T.
Big T.
Yeah, anybody who's listening, make sure you go stop at WingZone.
Yeah,
Tell them their
stop
address
at
and phone
WingZone.
number real quick before we close.
The phone number to the shop. Hold on, I don't even know
I
my
guess it
phone number.
should have prepped you for that one. Huh?
Give me 1 second.
And what's you guys' website?
It's wingzone.com.
Okay.
And they can order online.
Absolutely,
and all that kind of
yes.
stuff? Very good.
They can call us, and our phone number at the shop is 909-321-4746. We're located at 1755 East Lagonia Avenue, suite number 210, which
Yeah.
it doesn't have a suite number on there, but it's right between Jersey Mike's and Starbucks.
Yeah, it's in that
on the
Stater
Stater Brothers.
Yeah, the Stater
Super
Brothers.
easy to get to. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a
you'll
good
you'll
spot.
see us. We're right in the middle, and it's right there. But yeah, you can. We're still community based, so you can call in your orders and just pay when you get there.
Right, beautiful. Well,
Yeah.
Julian, hey, listen,
Yeah.
thank you for the kind words about our guys today.
Absolutely. Hey, I got shout outs for your guys too. Like Noah, definitely. I got a
John
shout.
Garcia.
Yeah, John Garcia. What did I do with my
John's
shout?
gonna be over the moon on that, man. He loves that stuff. I love giving him good news like that. He just
I got a shout out list right here. Hold on, if I can find it.
while he's doing that, for everybody who along with visiting WingZone, make sure that you call Redlands and Henry Bush for
Yeah,
any
we'd love
plumbing,
to
heating, or
serve
air
you.
needs. Check us out online. You can get our social media at Redlands and Henry Bush. And you can find the show on Spotify and YouTube, and you search Inside the Red Truck, and that's where you can get us at.
There you go. We got a shout
All right,
out.
we
Let's
got
go
shout
ahead.
outs to some Redlands people. First of all, my dad, our team at WingZone Redlands, Ambrosia Soap, Mr. Brightbeard Oil, HM Roofing, Royalty Fitness Apparel, Debbie and Samantha, who run Sunday Market Redlands and Sunday Market Loma Linda, Plymouth Village, and Stater Brothers in Redlands. And we also, I gotta say this, rest in peace, Alan Borgen, host of the Let's Dine Out show, and Izzy as well.
We lost him and his wife together not last year.
Yeah,
correct?
they died in a car crash,
Yeah.
and he was a good friend of mine. It really destroyed me, and so
Well, shout out to them for sure.
Yeah, definitely, Alan Borgen, rest in peace, and Izzy as well. But
Cool.
yeah,
Well, thank you so much for coming in, man. We appreciate it, and we're looking forward to coming over and trying your food. And I encourage everybody else to do the same thing.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
See you guys later.
thanks for having me, guys.
No problem. Thank you.